guys, welcome to episode 4 of the Budget Scrambler Build. So today we're going to be making a custom exhaust, and I'm also going to be cleaning up the frame and adding in some gussets. But first off, I'm going to go ahead and trim down the rear mudguard just around here so that it doesn't bottom out on the swing arm. Next up, I'm going to be removing these brackets here and also the silencer. Then I'm going to start cleaning up the frame and see about putting a gusset in there. I'm going to do that for both sides. Okay, so that's one side done. For this side, the side stand actually attaches to the bottom of that bracket. So I'm going to do exactly the same, but I'm going to make a slightly different shaped gusset just to support where it mounts. Well, the gussets are all done now, and next up I'd like to start working on the exhaust. So I've already removed the heat wrap and I've saved that in case I want to use it later. But down here is actually an EGR system, which what that does is it recycles exhaust gases. So there is a minute difference in power, and I'm going to remove that and create a blanking plate out of the fitting that's already there. Then what I'll do is I'll take off the exhaust, see what scraps I've got laying around and what I can make. so I've been around the workshop and I've dug out a couple of bends. Some of these have come from exhaust that have rotted out and I've saved the bend, and some of them I've bought in error. The silencer I bought for 40 quid, so we're at 80 quid for the total price of the Scrambler so far. So next I'm going to go ahead and start chopping some pipe and tack welding it in place and see if I can work out a way of getting a high level pipe on there. Okay, so what I've got here is the 180-degree bend that I found. I've trimmed that down to about where I think it's going to work. The other thing I've done is trimmed off the front of the pipe. So this little collar here comes from the original pipe, and what I'm going to do is just skim it out on the lathe until it fits over the top of this bend. That way I'll be able to clamp it in and start working back towards the muffler. Okay, so I've skimmed that flange out on the lathe, and now it fits over quite snugly. So the next thing I'm going to do is just make a small chamfer around the edge of this. Then I can weld that on top with the clamp on already, and then I should be able to test fit it and start making the exhaust from front to back. Okay, so we just run into our first problem with building the exhaust. I figured out that I can use the bends from the original exhaust to my advantage. So I've gone about chopping that up, but realised it's got this smaller diameter pipe inside it. Now, I've tried to remove it from the bend, but I can't. So the next thing I'm going to have to do is cut the bends open, remove it, and then re-weld them back together, and then I can continue building the exhaust. Okay, so originally I was supposed to be mounting the silencer just up here. I can see myself running into too many problems that way. I've got the mudguard bracket and also the mudguard to contend with, so I'd probably have to cut a lot out of it, and I don't really want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and make a bold decision. I'm going to move the exhaust to here, which is something that can be seen on BSA B50s and other machines like that. So I'm going to do that. The exhaust that I took off the original bike and have just removed the inner tubing from, I'm going to cut back again and see if I can figure out a way of doing it with those bends. Okay, so the exhaust is tacked in place and that is the shape that I want. It's pretty ugly at the moment, to be honest. I had to do a lot of chopping and changing. I had to grind off tacks and then re-tack it. But it's where I want right now. So next up I'm going to do the final welding, grind it down, make it look a little bit nicer, and then I will move on to attaching the muffler. Okay, so that's the exhaust in its final form now. I've just used some larger diameter pipe at the end just to increase the size of the end of the exhaust so that this collar can fit on and I can put the muffler on. So next up, what I'm going to be doing is fitting this, and I will make a couple of brackets, one to stabilise midway along the pipe, and then the muffler already comes with a bracket. I'll be adapting that so that it fits onto the frame. Right, so we've made some gussets and we've got the custom exhaust system mounted, which brings us to an end of today's episode. So next time I'm going to be looking at making these race plates for the side here, which involve quite a bit of sheet metal work. So join us in episode 5 for that. Thanks for watching.